403-0973. We got a busy show today. Of course, we got Jason Blevins live at the center tonight. Sixers taking on Portland. Of course, half of Portland's roster is not even playing tonight. So that'll be an interesting conversation to have with Jay coming up in about roughly 38 minutes from now. We'll get in touch with him up at the center. ESPN radio host Ian Fitzsimmons. He's the co-host of Freddie and Fitzsimmons Monday through Friday nights here on 97.3 ESPN. We talked to Freddie Coleman on Tuesday. We got Ian Fitzsimmons today. Interesting conversation I had with him. We recorded it a little bit earlier about a couple different things. Super Bowl, what it's like for coaches, and the Eagles have a new quarterbacks coach. His name is Brian Johnson. Ian's got some interesting insights about Brian Johnson. You'll hear that in about 20 minutes from right now. Of course, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hello out there, world, watching the show here on 97.3 ESPN FM at 97.3 ESPN on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You want to get in touch with the show, just comment on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or shoot a text to 609-403-0973 to get on the conversation. We cannot, though, proceed with this show without talking about the news, the Carson Wentz news that just came out of nowhere. It felt like today. And listen, there have been conversations about, well, what teams may or may not be interested in Wentz. Is anybody really going to call the Eagles? And then it felt like this morning, when this news initially dropped by Adam Kaplan and Jeff Mosher, then later furthered along by Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo, you can see the full report over at 97.3 ESPN.com right now. I didn't expect this much detail to come out, and it did. Usually when reports like this come out, there's not this much extensive reporting. But now we have a situation where sources say that teams are already calling the Eagles about Carson Wentz. And the reason why they're calling them is to, here's the quote, plot a roadmap for a potential trade. Plot a roadmap. That doesn't sound more like just let's have a conversation. That sounds like teams are planning on acquiring Carson Wentz. This is not some random report. This isn't somebody's not happy with their coach. This isn't just so-and-so is interviewing for a job. This literally is the Eagles taking real serious calls about the second overall pick from the 2016 NFL draft. Also part of the reporting from Adam Kaplan and Jeff Mosher was that some of the teams that are involved in wanting to get Carson Wentz were teams that couldn't get Matthew Stafford. Think about that for a minute. If you're a team that was in on the Matthew Stafford sweepstakes and you lost out, the next call you're making is about Wentz. That says one of two things to me. Either one, you know that you don't have the asset to go out and acquire Deshaun Watson, so you think you could settle for Carson Wentz, or number two, what that means is that maybe you're someone who is more comfortable with going out and getting Wentz. Like, for example, there's no way the Texans are going to trade with the Colts in the division. So probably for Indianapolis, if they're going to trade for a quarterback and it's going to not be extremely expensive in terms of assets, Wentz makes more sense than Watson. He makes more sense than Sam Darnold. He makes more sense than some of the other quarterbacks who may or may not be out there. Except for maybe like Matt Ryan. And even in that case, there's a lot of moving parts down there in Atlanta that we don't even fully know about. The other team that's being talked about, according to Jeff Mosher and Adam Kaplan's report, you can see the full details over at 97.3 ESPN.com, the Chicago Bears. That's one that was interesting to me. But when you start breaking it down, it makes sense. John DeFilippo used to be here. Now he's in Chicago. The Bears general manager was interested in Carson Wentz in 2016, but he didn't have the resources to trade up from 9 to 2 to get him that year. Also, don't forget about the fact that Matt Nagy, Doug Peterson, same coaching tree. So maybe not a crazy shift from what he's done in Philadelphia to what he would do in Chicago. So Chicago's not a crazy idea. It's not something that's totally wild, but it's something to keep an eye on. If you think about it, there's a lot of teams in the NFL that have quarterback questions. Because when the Texans trade Deshaun Watson, who's going to be their quarterback? Seriously. Who are they going to bring back? Brock Osweiler? I mean, come on. Can't do that. When you think about the situation, when it comes to the Eagles, to Wentz, moving on from him is the best idea. And there's a lot of teams going to need quarterbacks. We don't know what the Jets are still doing. Are they going to draft the quarterback? Are they going to keep Sam Darnold? We don't know yet. There's rumors that the 49ers may go out and try to get Kirk Cousins or Matt Ryan. Then what happens in Minnesota and Atlanta? We know the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to draft Trevor Lawrence. There's people who are questioning what exactly is the long-term plans for an organization like, for example, when you think about teams that have questioned the quarterback position, it's the Patriots. I don't know who the Patriots starting quarterback is going to be, and neither do you. If you tell me it's Jarrett Stidham, I'm just going to laugh at you probably, because I think Jarrett Stidham proved last year that he couldn't beat out Cam Newton in training camp, and Stidham had a couple of years under his belt in the Patriots offense. Cam Newton walks in the door and he's automatically the starting quarterback. If Stidham was such a great quarterback, he was such a great resource, then Cam Newton could have walked in there and started immediately. What if the Patriots come calling for Carson Wentz? There's a lot of teams to keep an eye on as we move forward. But again, the full report is over at 973ESPN.com. And I think that I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be here. I really don't. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle next season. I think the silence is deafening. I think that the way this organization is going about their business seems to be without a concern for him specifically. They're just doing their business. They're not worried about him. I think Wentz has proven by his play that he is as Jeffrey Lurie called him, an asset. The owner called Carson Wentz an asset. Carson Wentz has done nothing to endear himself to this organization. He has done nothing to make you think that he should be here. And if you believe any of the other report about Wentz, he's at least stubborn and hard-headed. And at this point, is it really worth it? Brand new head coach, brand new coaching staff. Maybe it's time to move on. Josh Hennig here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up about 10 minutes from now, I'll be joined by ESPN radio host Ian Fitzsimmons. Then at 6:40 tonight, Jason Blevins, our 97.3 ESPN.com Sixers beat reporter, joins us live from the Center for Sixers and Portland preview right here on 97.3 ESPN. 609-403-0973 is the text board. 609-403-0973. We also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just like Paul, you can comment to the show via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Paul Westcott is watching on Facebook. He says, the relationship is beyond repair. The fans are not behind him anymore. 2017 seems to be more like an outlier now. Trading Wentz is almost necessary, even with his outrageous contract, in order for the franchise to move forward and not fall into the cycle of becoming the Cleveland Browns. Well, Paul, first of all, thanks for watching the show. Thanks for listening and consuming the show. I'm just going to address the last part first. The Eagles are so far from becoming the Browns, it's not even funny. The Browns couldn't make the playoffs if their life depended on it. The Eagles made the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. So I don't see how you would ever fall into a cycle of becoming the Browns unless you're the Detroit Lions and you just keep hiring and firing and hiring and firing people. So I think that the likelihood of you falling in a cycle is very far down the road. Even Chip Kelly and Ray Rhodes went to the postseason. Hugh Jackson couldn't do that. Now, the first part I 100% agree with. I think that this Wentz relationship with the Eagles is beyond repair. I think that there are fans who are behind him, but it's not the majority of fans. I think there's a contingent of fans who look at Wentz and they say, look, I want to see what Wentz could do without Doug Peterson. All right, fine. I'm not one of those fans. It's not me. The fact that Carson Wentz has taken zero responsibility for his play this year, the fact that Carson Wentz refuses to speak to the media, refuses to speak to anybody, tells me that this situation is just too far gone. Another former number 1 overall pick, Ryan Leaf, joined the Sports Bash earlier today. This is what Ryan Leaf said to Mike Gill and Hunter Brody when they asked him about Carson Wentz not speaking to anybody since the end of the season.
From what I know of Carson and having spent the time with him, he's the type of person that would do that. So if he hasn't, that goes against all things character driven by him. And if that's the case, there's a real problem. There is a real problem if that is the response we're getting from him right now.
It is a real problem. Ryan's right. And he's a guy who's been in NFL locker rooms. He understands the system. So, Paul Westcott, you're right. Listen, this situation seems to be beyond repair, in my opinion. I know there are people who out there say, could they fix Wentz? Did they hire Sirianni for Wentz? The fact that Wentz has been completely silent about anything lately is disturbing. In an age full of social media where everyone has an opinion, everybody puts their opinions out there, even people whose opinion don't even matter, even people whose opinion have no facts or information behind it. Like, the random person can put their opinion out there. You're telling me that Carson Wentz can't clear the air on anything? Bad look. And concerning the contract, I still contend that for as outrageous as the contract is, if I'm the Eagles, I tell Wentz, look, we can move you to whatever team you want to go to. Here's a list of teams that are calling about you. But how about you make it a little bit easier for us to make that deal by renegotiating this contract? Now, there's no reports out there by anyone that Carson Wentz has demanded a trade. There is nobody reporting that. So it's not like Wentz is banging on the table saying, get me out of here. But Carson Wentz has to at least realize the writing is on the wall. He has to have at least enough self-awareness to know that you can't keep going on like this. He has to have enough self-awareness to understand that you cannot be a successful NFL quarterback and function like this and still be a leader, still be a respected member of the locker room. We have heard from Jalen Hurts on multiple platforms this week. Multiple platforms. We've heard from Jalen Hurts on NFL Instagram Live and CBS Sports, and nothing from Wentz. To me, that makes Wentz look even worse. To me, that makes Wentz look even more foolish, even more out of touch, even more of a problem. I think that the Eagles have to move on from him. I don't know what the deal is going to be. I don't know what you can get for him. I know some people like Keyshawn Johnson and KJZ on ESPN radio in the mornings think that, you can get a first round pick for him. I hear other people say that you can't get a first round. I don't care what you can get for him. To me, the priority of the Eagles should be what is best for the franchise. And in my opinion, what's best for the franchise is not going into training camp with a quarterback battle right now, because you have one quarterback who's invested in what's best for the organization, and you have another quarterback who is passive aggressively selfish and won't actually talk to anybody about it. There's things that psychologists call that stuff. You know what I mean? That not talking to people, being silent, not wanting to address issues. There's psychoses people call for that. I'm not saying about Wentz, but I'm just saying. Might be a deeper problem here than we realize. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. We will get back to your messages on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter a little bit later in the hour, along with your text at 609-403-0973. But coming up next, Ian Fitzsimmons, co-host of Freddie and Fitzsimmons, joins me next to get more into the Super Bowl, the Eagles hiring Brian Johnson, and more right here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And don't forget, Sixers versus Portland tonight at 8 o'clock on 97.3 ESPN. And Jason Blevins, our Sixers beat reporter, will join us coming up at 6:40 tonight.
Tonight on the NBA on ESPN Radio.
Steps back, his three is on the way, and it's true.
Don't keep playing, I'm going to keep playing.
Big three for LeBron James.
LeBron, AD, and the Lakers return to Los Angeles from their East Coast trip to face the Denver Nuggets.
Jokic straight on triple try, goes through the net.
It's the NBA on 97.3 ESPN, your exclusive home for the NBA Finals. Coverage begins after Sixers basketball.
Start the new year in a new Kia at Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River or Egg Harbor Township today. The new year is an opportunity to set new goals and start fresh. And at Matt Blatt Kia, our goal is to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve this new year. 0% APR financing available for up to 75 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage LX SUVs in stock. Plus, Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Plus, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 per 1,000 borrowed. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 2/4/2021. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Let's start with all the people smitten by a certain sweetheart. Now narrow it to all those lovebirds who kind of let Valentine's Day sneak up on them and need to woo this sweetheart in a hurry. For you, you romantic but forgetful Cupid, Walgreens has great gifts for pickup in as little as 30 minutes. So whether it's a card and a box of candy or a bottle of perfume, Walgreens helps you get sweet gifts in a heartbeat. Aww.
This week, select Russell Stover chocolates are buy one, get one free. Of equal or lesser price, restrictions apply to pickup. See walgreens.com/pickup for details.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
Hey, it's Rick from upstairs. Yeah, I take it seriously. When I play R&B at 1 a.m, that's me saying, hey, I'm here for you. And I enjoy repetitive bass lines. I only use expired batteries in my smoke detectors. Nice, right? Yeah, upstairs neighbors help people forget their troubles. Give them something else to focus on. Ooh, want to see how high I can jump?
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor.
Oh, wait, let me try again.
But we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
A message from your neighbors and friends at First Bank. We've been serving residents and businesses of Sea Isle City and the surrounding communities for more than 130 years. Today's challenges, while unique, are another opportunity to show our strength and resilience. Our commitment to you remains strong. Whether it's using our drive-through services, bank by phone, the First Bank mobile app, or online banking, we're staying strong with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on.
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin on 97.3 ESPN.
If I'm a team that's looking to acquire a quarterback, I'm certainly looking to give up a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. When you do look at it, he's still kind of young. He has some games underneath his belt and some experience. Maybe a change of scenery.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Of course, it's Super Bowl week and another great opportunity to talk about football with my guest right now. He is the co-host of Freddie and Fitzsimmons. You heard Freddie Coleman on the other night. Now we got Ian Fitzsimmons on the show tonight here on 97.3 ESPN, joining us on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Welcome back to the show, Ian. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you jumping on. And I got to start with the Super Bowl stuff because you're someone I really wanted to ask this about because your brother coached in the NFL. And I know that the amount of work that coaches go into, not just for any game, but especially the Super Bowl, has to be above and beyond. Give the audience an idea of some of the things that your brother has told you about what goes into the preparation for a National Football League team game week.
You know, I really didn't have a true appreciation for what it takes to win on a Sunday in the NFL until he got into the league with the Colts first, and then he had about a 5-year run with the Detroit Lions, making the playoffs twice in 4 years. Which by the way, how does that sound right now for Detroit fans? You fired Jim Caldwell, brilliant move. Where his worst year was 7-9 and made the playoffs half the time there in Detroit under Jim Caldwell. But man, I made a comment one time and it was, you know, pick a team who's awful, right? And the Lions lost to them, and this is when they were 11-5 and went and played the Cowboys in the playoff game down in Arlington. He goes, "You have no concept as to what it takes to win a game in the NFL. None, zero." And it really got me to thinking. So I've called a couple of other guys that you know I know around the league who have coached in the league for a long time, from college to pros. They said, man, the difference in the pros is you got a wife, you got 3 kids, right? You got bad back, you got 2 dogs, you know, and especially during the holiday season. I mean, now you got the in-laws coming over and you forgot to get the whipping cream for the pie or whatever, and you're running back. I mean, it's chaos. You have a normal life, but you're also trying to prepare to win a game on a Sunday. It ain't easy to do. And he said, when you lose to a, quote, bad team in the league, right, that team, those guys are on scholarship also. I mean, they're getting paid a lot of money to be in the NFL. That's something Urban Meyer talked about. Urban's like, man, I don't buy into a team. Let's use the New York Jets for example, right? Urban's whole philosophy right now going to Jacksonville is if you're on an NFL roster, you've got talent. It's our job to coach you up. Now, could the other team have better talent? Absolutely. It's just like when Ohio State plays, I don't know, pick a squad, Rutgers, right? But those guys, there's talent on every single team. And to win a game in the NFL is not easy. To win a playoff game, and this is something that this is what makes what Tom Brady has done so remarkable, incredible, almost unthinkable. This man has gone now 10 Super Bowls. 10. I don't know if people really have any idea how hard it is to get to 1 and then win 1. And this dude's going on number 7 if he takes home a Lombardi on Sunday. That's, as Marcus Spears told us the other day, he said, I played 9 years in the NFL. This dude's 2 Super Bowls away from as many seasons that I played in. I mean, it's unheard of, man. So to win a playoff game, it's hard. To get to a Super Bowl, it's incredibly difficult. To win 1 is, man, it's almost unthinkable. And I'm telling you that from a guy who's had blood in the game, and it ain't easy, man. So anybody who says, well, Aaron Rodgers only has 1, or Brett Favre only has 1, ask Tony Romo how 1 would feel, or Dan Marino only how 1 would feel, or Takeo Spikes, who played 15 years in the NFL, was a 6-7-time Pro Bowler, and never even got to the playoffs. It ain't easy.
And that's part of the reason why.
Long answer. I apologize.
No, it was a great answer, though.
You asked a hot question and you got a long answer. I apologize.
No, it was still a good answer. And because of that coaching, it's part of the reason why, Ian, I'm looking at this Chiefs and Bucks game, and I keep coming back to one thing. That record of Andy Reid coming off the bye is it's unheard of. It's ridiculous how good this guy is when he's given that extra week of preparation.
Yeah, no, I understand, but guess what? That dude, wearing 12, is pretty good off a bye too. And Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, I think, is underrated as a head coach. Now, full disclaimer, I've known BA since the late 90s when he was an offensive coordinator at Alabama. That's when we first met when I was covering Crimson Tide back then. And I completely understand what you're saying about Andy Reid. And he and Eric Bieniemy are going to have 3 or 4 of their magical gadget plays like Ferrari right. You know, that play they ran when everybody went left, Mahomes rolls back out to the right, and there's Travis Kelce ordering a milkshake in the back of the end zone because he's so wide open. But they're going to have 3 or 4 of those because that Fisher injury, Eric Fisher going down with Achilles at left tackle. Now you're moving Mike Remmers from right tackle, who's a backup right tackle, to your starting left tackle. Now you got a backup at the right, you got a backup at the left. Against that front seven for Tampa, we can talk about the Tom Brady's and the Andy Reids and the Bruce Arians and the Patrick Mahomeses and the Tyreek Hills and all the fancy names and the big names out there. This game is going to be won by the big boys with their hands in the dirt. There is no doubt in my mind. Vita Vea coming back at defensive tackle for Tampa was a massive, massive lift. And I'm beyond impressed with how in shape he is. And I'm talking football conditioning, especially for a man of his size. And Ndamukong Suh, no one's talking about. And that dude is caving the pocket and hog tying 2 or 3 guys to allow Shaq Barrett, JPP, Devin White, Levante David to run free. You know, whoever said we'd be talking about Ndamukong Suh as an underrated and underappreciated player in the Super Bowl. But that's what he is right now. That front seven for Tampa against that makeshift offensive line for Kansas City is where this game is going to be decided.
Ian Fitzsimmons, co-host of Freddie and Fitzsimmons, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN, joining us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline, here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Ian, another thing I want to ask you about is you've been around the college game for a long time, and there's a guy in Philadelphia right now who came from Florida, Brian Johnson. And can you tell the audience a little bit about this guy? Because I think a lot of people don't understand, people who only follow the pro game, people don't understand who this guy is. This is one of the hottest coaching commodities in college football. And the Eagles got him to be their quarterback coach.
And there's a lot of layers to that story. One, to give you background on Brian Johnson, quarterback at Utah, led the Utes to an undefeated season back in 2008, 2009, and beat the ever-loving hell out of Alabama and Nick Saban in the Sugar Bowl. That game was over before kickoff. He played an unbelievable game. Is a true student of the game. Having coached under Kyle Whittingham at Utah, is I think one of the best coaches in college football. Obviously, we then went under Urban Meyer, then Dan Mullen. Those are some pretty good football minds, man, where he studied under. And for Dan Mullen to make him his offensive coordinator at Florida just goes to show you what Mullen thinks about Brian Johnson. He is a remarkable mind, a student of the game, and a leader of men. I mean, guys just gravitate to him. For him to leave as a coordinator in the SEC on a team that's got some serious talent to make a run next year, to go be the quarterback coach in Philadelphia, tells me that name, image, likeness, and the transfer rules, because he's not the only one that's left a coordinator's position to go be a position coach in the league, you know, which a lot of people will deem as a step back. But I think I think guys like Brian Johnson, I haven't talked to Brian about this, but I think that the name, image, likeness, and the new transfer rules are going to cause some chaos in college football. And you're seeing a lot of coaches that are saying, you know what, I'm be a coordinator at this level, but if being a position coach with close to similar pay in the league, that's where my future is right now. And for anybody thinking, well, how's he going to develop Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts? Trust me, go ask Kyle Trask what this guy has done for him. Kyle Trask went from not starting a game since he was in junior high to being a Heisman Trophy finalist. And a lot of that, it was Dan Mullen, but a lot of it also was Brian Johnson. Guy can coach.
Ian Fitzsimmons here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Listen to him tonight, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN, coast of Freddie and Fitzsimmons. As all guests, he appeared on the Boardwalk on the Hotline. Ian, a lot of great stuff. We had a little time to get it all in. I appreciate you jumping on and making the time.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. And hey, man, when you walk into the old casino, baby, just put a 25 spot on black for me. You know how the rest of the night's going to go.
I'll keep you posted, and I'll blame you if I lose. How about that?
There you go. Everybody else does. Have a great one, man. Thanks for having me.
Ian Fitzsimmons here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. A real fun conversation with him. Always good to chat with him. We've talked with him before, a couple times. When this pandemic is over, I still owe him a Wawa run. The guy has no idea what a Wawa even is. It's wild. Josh Hennig here, back in the Matt Blatt Kia Studios on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, still to come, Jason Blevins, our Sixers beat reporter, will join us from the center to get more into the Sixers and Blazers game tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, my conversation with Ian Fitzsimmons is being brought to you by my friends over at weightliftinghq.com. Weightliftinghq.com is your home for everything you need to meet all your 2021 goals. Listen, maybe you're someone who says, you know what, 2020 was so rough, I had to just use January to recalibrate myself to the world. And maybe you're someone who's working from home. Maybe you're someone whose home and work situation is just too complicated for you to get to the gym. Whatever your reason is, you can still work out from home thanks to weightliftinghq.com. Weightliftinghq.com is located right here in South Jersey. They will deliver the equipment to your home anywhere in the tri-state area. Whether you need a benches, squat rack, kettlebells, dumbbells, cardio and fitness machines, resistance bands, whatever you need for your health and fitness goals to help you get where you want to go, weightliftinghq.com is here to help you reach those goals. Use my code RADIO10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. That's RADIO10 at checkout for 10% off at weightliftinghq.com. That's Radio10 at weightliftinghq.com. Get a couple comments in here before we hit the next break here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN 609-403-0973. We opened the show talking about what is going on with Carson Wentz, right? And so we got a text from, we got Kevin over in Dover chimes in on the text board at 609-403-0973. Kevin in Dover says, I used to be a Wentz supporter. Now I'm sick of him. No one is entitled to anything in the NFL. No matter who you are, no matter your talent level, he's acting like a child. Get rid of him. That's Kevin in Dover. Well, first of all, Kevin, I'm with you. I used to be a Wentz guy too. Okay. I'm in the same boat as you. I used to be a Wentz guy. Listen, I've been here at 97.3 as an on-air person since 2016. So I've been on the ground floor since Carson Wentz was drafted, all right, here at 97.3. And I was a huge advocate for him coming out of college. I looked at Wentz and I said, this guy is special. This guy is unique. This guy is everything you want from a quarterback. That's how I looked at Carson Wentz. And I felt 2017 vindicated you trading up for him and putting him in that position to be successful. That's how I looked at Carson Wentz. But here's what happened. Carson Wentz got injured again and again and again. So it was hard to measure him when it came to a quarterback. And I'm with you, Kevin. I was a Wentz guy. I was like, listen, I'm going to give this guy a chance. I need to see what he can do. I'm not going to let all the other stuff affect my perspective. But when you go out there like he did this year, how can you not be sick of Carson Wentz? This guy literally lost the Eagles games because of his ego, because of his pride, because he thought he had to win the game. He was trying to be Brett Favre without any of the intangibles of Brett Favre. Because what made Brett Favre is that he's a leader. He was one of the guys. The guys followed him. And Carson Wentz is the guy who people are not following him. You heard the cut. I'll play it again. Jalen Mills, who played with Carson Wentz. Jalen Mills, who's been an Eagle for as long as Carson Wentz has been. This is what Jalen Mills said about Wentz and about Hurts.
And we know that he didn't play up to that this year. He knows that, he's a fiery competitor.
Wentz is a fiery competitor. He knows he lives with expectations. Oh, but wait, Mills goes on.
A guy who wants to be perfect at everything that he does. And then you got a guy like Hurts who's, a leader, a guy who's won at Alabama, he won at Oklahoma, and then he came in and he had a really, really good rookie season.
He's a leader. He is a winner. He had a really, really good rookie season. That's a guy who played on the team. That's not me. That's not Kevin from Dover. That's a player, saying that. And I think that speaks volumes. All right, we're going to transition next year on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Jason Blevins, our 97.3 ESPN.com Sixers beat reporter, also covers the Sixers for the Painted Lines, will join us coming up next live from the center right here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City, and live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just follow 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Joe throws up a prayer, and it goes. A high-arcing desperation shot. Rainbow jumper is good.
The Sixers host the Portland Trailblazers tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Stop the countdown. It's not a new year we're celebrating. It's an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Yes, you heard right. Matt Blatt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot, and online at mattblattnissan.com. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan with the Matt Blatt Nissan Fast Track Checkout. Available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan wants your trade. Bring it in today and help us celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, or visit us online. We want to help with your credit approval. And don't forget, with Matt Blatt, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan online at mattblattnissan.com. Credit may affect terms. Negative equity will be refinanced in the new vehicle. Get all the details at mattblattnissan.com. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Recently, Total Wireless helped
Josh.
Michelle take a virtual dance recital for her friends and family.
This event was super meaningful to them.
Because when you move to Total Wireless, you can get amazing devices on nationwide 5G. And with unlimited plans starting at $25 a month, you could save up to $1,200 a year.
Thank you, Total Wireless, for helping me pull this off.
Total Wireless. Do amazing. Compatible 5G device required. 5G network in limited areas. Month equals 30 days. Savings claim made when compared to 4-line postpaid plans of leading carriers 10-20-20. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
Feeling stressed in your skin? Not with Olay Body Wash infused with retinol. Olay Body with retinol improves skin 3 times better versus the leading body wash to transform skin from dull and stressed to renewed and visibly healthy. Because when I feel my best in my skin, I don't fear stepping into a new dream or taking risks like starting my own business. Olay Body, fearless in my skin.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Liberty.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
As a minimalist, paying less for insurance is more.
Nice place. Is your house a bubble?
It's a dome. I find corners unnecessary.
At Liberty Mutual, that's how we feel about overpaying for insurance.
But I do miss having shelves.
What would you put on them?
Nothing, obviously.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to get on the conversation. You can watch the show. We are live in the Matt Blatt Kia studios on 97.3 ESPN, and joining us right now on the Boardwalk kind of hotline and live on the stream is the one and only Jason Blevins here on the show, live from the center. He is up there. He is in the building, mask and everything. I mean, he even brought the headset with him to the game. I mean, this man is prepared.
It's funny you say that because I forgot my laptop charger today, and my Bluetooth headset. So, yeah, I'm prepared, except only partially. I'm going to be managing this battery the whole game.
So what you're saying is that you prepared to jump on the show with me, but you didn't prepare for anything else.
My precious, precious battery life is being spent just for you.
What are you at, 90% right now?
I'm afraid to look.
Well, Jason, we won't keep you too long so we don't burn too much of your battery life because you do got to cover the game up there at the center tonight. But I did want to start with basically Portland decided that everyone is not playing tonight. Now, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the list, for those who don't know, includes Lillard, Jones, Little. We already know that Collins and Nurkic are not playing, and McCollum. So I think it's basically just going to be Gary Trent, Carmelo Anthony, and they might need you to come off the bench.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but that would not help their case. But yeah, they're going to be shorthanded. So I know a couple of people here are excited to see Carmelo take what's the over under, you think, 42 shots tonight?
I actually can look it up right now because they literally just posted. The Sixers Blazers line was actually locked on all sports books until about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, all right.
So let me go look at the player props while you.
I think he'll have 38 points on 37 shots tonight. Let's do that. Let's give him more than a point per shot.
More than a point per shot. Oh my goodness.
He's going to get every opportunity tonight to relive his glory days in New York.
Yeah, I'm literally just pulling it up now. I'm looking at the lines here on the over-unders. Carmelo, my goodness, they even have an over-under on Fitzsimmons. This is getting really bad over here. I mean, that's how crazy the world is. By the way, Gary Trent's over-under is 19.5.
Okay.
That gives you an idea what maybe Carmelo is.
Yeah, for points scored, you mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just thinking about how many shots he's going to get to take. It's going to be all of the shots. Like everybody's going to have a green light tonight, I think. And sometimes, quite frankly, that's a good thing for teams when you just give the green light to those younger players. So there's probably a lot of excited bench guys tonight who know that they're not going to be forced into a very specific role, and they're going to be able to just go out, play loose, try to play ugly, and get as many shots up as possible. It's kind of a freeing way for that team to play, whereas the Sixers are trying to build some cohesion, some chemistry, and continuity. They're going to be a little more structured, so it's probably going to be a weird first half. I would expect the Sixers probably to put it away in the third quarter, and hopefully the other over under I would say is Joel Embiid. You probably don't want to see him play more than 26 minutes tonight.
Well, for interested minds, the Carmelo number for points right now is 22.5, and the Robert Covington over-under on points is 10.5 for interested minds over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Jason, let's get to the Sixers here because an important win last night, because on a night in Philadelphia where the Flyers basically choked away another lead, the Sixers found a way to close out a game that they probably should have won by maybe 15 points, but they at least found a way to close it out. How did you feel about the way that fourth quarter went?
I thought it was fine. I think that's how NBA games go. I think this is their third regular season game against the Hornets, I think, already. And the other two are in a homestand here. And both of those games were comfortable. And then the Hornets were able to turn the Sixers over and make it uncomfortable. Last night was a little more Hornets making some shots. Home team's going to make some shots. So to me, it never felt like a game that was in any serious danger of slipping away. They did bring Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid back on the floor with, I think, 6 minutes left or so, just to sort of close the door. But to me, it was just one of those professional road wins, which they're starting to put together now, which they weren't doing last year.
You used the phrase professional road wins. I like that phrase because I think that's a reflection of the maturity of Joel, the growth of this team, and also the fact that you have a coaching staff with the amount of experience and depth. I feel like it's the team just feels more well-rounded. Is that fair to say?
It's interesting because I think of this team more as it is well-rounded as a unit, but it's very much like an Italian race car where all the parts, when put together, are beautiful. It hums like a thing of beauty, but you remove a couple of parts and all of a sudden it gets real clunky. And we'll see tonight with Ben Simmons being out if that's clunky. I think Ben Simmons hurts them more on defense than he does offensively. They can just go to a bit of a slower pace, run more half court, dump it into Joel more, and play out of that. So I think it hurts them more late in games when Ben Simmons is such a fantastic defender late in games. But they are well rounded when they're all together. I think they have all of the elements of an elite team.
Jason Blevins joining us here live from the center right here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at jblevins NBA for all your Sixers and NBA coverage. Check out all of his work over at 97.3 ESPN.com, live on the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter streams with the mask, with the headset, all equipped for the game tonight at the center. The other thing I'm interested about this game is I know that there's a question, not by me, but there are people in the fan base who have this question, Jay, and that is people say, well, they're playing the Nets on Saturday, or they may be overlooking the Blazers. People are worried that maybe that they're not going to come out there and try to finish the game. What is your response to people who are saying stuff like that?
Well, I think a calf thing is something you want to rest to make sure it's ready. So the player's health comes first. You don't want a 70% Ben Simmons on Saturday night. You are looking at a team that's going to play loose and fast tonight. But one of the other things with an inexperienced team of backups is the injury risk for your players actually goes up a little bit because just guys are less predictable and bodies can hit the floor more often. So I don't. You expect to win the game. You expect it to be weird and ugly at times. You got sort of a summer league roster on one side in some senses, and a team that is well oiled in the other sense. But at some point, you just have to expect that your offense dissects the other team's defense once they get adjusted to the sort of wildness that you might see. So, yeah, to me, it's a good opportunity to rest anyone who's not 100%.
Jason, I know we're going to try to save your battery life here, but I got one more player. I'll let you go here. I got to ask you about Tobias because, this is a guy who I think is playing at an incredibly high level. And it's not just the point scoring because he's averaging 22 points since he returned from the COVID protocols, but it's the fact that he's shooting 46% from three, over 52% from the field. His efficiency has gotten so much better. And he looks like a new player almost at times. I love the attitude. I love the intensity from him. And it's amazing to see his growth from when he was first acquired by the Sixers to the player that he's become now.
Yeah, it is. And I think everybody should go and vote for him to be an all-star, if nothing else than to acknowledge the hot start that he's gotten off to and the way that he's turned around his vibes with the fan base and with the team. So does he continue to shoot 45+% from three for the rest of the year? Probably not. But he's playing fast. He's playing decisively. He's not overthinking things. He's taking exactly what this offense creates, which is those downhill lanes. And he is making every undisciplined defensive team pay for being undisciplined. And that's all great stuff. Now, we have to see when you get into the playoffs, when you have very disciplined defensive teams, how much of that translates. And I think a lot of that, and I've said it before, a lot of that is a function of how well pieces like Curry and Embiid are playing with each other, creating those lanes for Tobias and those open shots. So, I don't expect him to shoot 46, 48% or whatever it is from three for the rest of the year. But it's great. It's great to see his start, and I think he's playing really good defense too.
He's Jason Blevins. Follow him on Twitter at JBlevinsNBA for all of his Sixers and NBA coverage. He is live at the center tonight. Sixers versus Portland at 8 o'clock tonight. You hear all the action. Tom McGinnis on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN. Jay, appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you sacrificing part of your battery life to jump on the show tonight. So go put your computer in some sort of power saver mode.
I will.
And I'll hope for the best for you tonight.
Appreciate you having me on, Josh. Thanks.
Anytime. Of course, Jason Blevins says all guests appeared on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline here on 97.3 ESPN. I mentioned FanDuel Sportsbook a little bit earlier. Of course, don't forget my friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. I'll give you my pick of the night in just a moment. You might have gotten an idea of what my pick of the night is when you heard me a few minutes ago. But before we get to that, I want to remind you about the big game this Sunday, the 55th edition of the big game with exclusive 55-1 odds only at FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right. You can get 55-1 odds with FanDuel Sportsbook. Here's what you got to do. If you are a new user, you can take $5 and turn it into $275 if you pick the winner of the Super Bowl this Sunday. So, what do you like, the Chiefs or the Bucks? You heard me yesterday here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm going Chiefs. Dave Weinberg is going Bucks. You got to wait till tomorrow to hear what other people have to say. But I'm telling you right now, whoever you think is going to win, you can win a cool $275 when you throw $5 if you are a new user signing up with FanDuel Sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today or go to sportsbook.fanduel.com. Use my promo code Hennig to get 55-1 odds on the big game. That's promo code HENNIG with FanDuel Sportsbook. If you are a current user of FanDuel Sportsbook, here's another opportunity for you to win big. It is a same game parlay. And I'm going to give you a same game parlay right now as I'm talking to you with FanDuel Sportsbook. So you heard me mention the Sixers spread didn't come out until around 6:38, 6:39 tonight. They had it on lockdown because they were waiting for confirmation of all the players who were in and out. No Simmons, no Lillard. There's basically, like you heard just Jason Blevins say, it's basically like a summer league team out there. So I'm going Sixers on the spread. I'm also going Carmelo Anthony over 17.5. The number just dropped down to 17.5. So get it right now while you can at FanDuel Sportsbook. And I'm going to take that 17.5 and I'm going to realize that, you know what? There's no Ben Simmons tonight. He's not playing. He's out. And as Jay Blevins said, it's not just a rest issue. It's a legitimate reason. So I am going to go with another player to be productive. You can go one of two ways. You can go Tobias Harris over 20.5. I told you he's averaging 22 points per game since returning from the COVID protocols. That gets you plus 594. Sixers minus 10. Carmelo Anthony over 17.5. Tobias Harris over 20.5. But if you say, Josh, I don't know if Tobias is going to play the full game. He may rest a huge chunk of the game. All right, fine. I'll give you another one. We know for sure who is going to play in this game, right? We know that certain guys are going to play, and one of them is Tobias Harris. So if you don't want to go with the points, let's go with another guy who we know is going to play tonight. Someone has to score for Portland, right? Why not Gary Trent? Over 19.5, that gets you plus 781. So either way, you can go to the same game parlay exclusively on FanDuel Sportsbook. Go on there right now. You have an opportunity to take a little bit, turn it into a big win with FanDuel Sportsbook. Again, it must be 21 or to play. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be present in NJ or PA. For full terms and conditions, see sportsbook.fanduel.com. Thanks again to Ian Fitzsimmons for joining the show earlier today. Thanks to Jay Blevins for joining us live from the center. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Hennig on Twitter to harass me, bug me, question me, whatever you want to do. That's fine. Just, it's all engage. Why not? Of course, don't forget, tomorrow on the Sports Bash, a very busy day, and tomorrow night, high school basketball at 6 right here on 97.3 ESPN. Sixers, Portland at 8 tonight.
High school basketball is back, and 97.3 ESPN's complete coverage continues tomorrow. This is Tom Williams. George McNally and I will be in the Dixie Hal Gym when number 11 Wildwood Catholic, the three-time defending Cape Atlantic League champion, does battle with Ocean City. Then on Monday, we'll be back again when Atlantic City visits Ocean City. It's the Calvi Electric Game of the Week, produced by Prime Events. Wildwood Catholic at Ocean City, tomorrow, starting at 6 on 97.3 ESPN.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
High blood pressure or hypertension